this one is a little different from the ones I've normally done because, well, before I started doing this series, I actually made a list of them. This one wasn't on that list. It wasn't even someone I thought to add to it till recently. When actually, as of July 16th, when I started work, when I began recording for these slides, I hadn't really thought to do this until I think yesterday when I saw a video by History Behind the Word talking about Erron Black, and I thought, you know what? It is a crying shame I did not do a video on Erron Black, or didn't think to add him to the list. And really, I just want to do it because, like, this series mainly was to talk about some stuff that I think people could learn from these characters. But another thing is, I just like to nerd out about stuff I like, or talk about stuff I like. And Erron Black is probably another one of them. He is probably the only character in Mortal Kombat I give a shit about, and he's also probably my favorite one. Mostly because I think it was a journalist who once described him as being like a Boba Fett type character, and found that kind of interesting because he was probably one of the few guys in the game of 10 who actually used guns. Everyone else used their fists or some kind of weapon or some kind of close combat weapon. Oh, I think he did in 10. I never really played that. I've only played 11. And I only got 11 so I could play as Erron Black because I think he's a cool character and I want to see what else would happen with him. And despite him being underused, he still makes a good antagonist in my opinion. Or he's a decent one. I really think they should have just done a spin-off series with him. Like, do a comic or an open world game about Erron Black. Like, just exploring the outer world and maybe talk about some of the other locations in it that they want to use in future games. And sorry about that. I swear I keep hearing a noise, and my dogs aren't home anymore. So, well, for until I get back. But anyway, yeah, this is just, and also he's a bounty hunter, mercenary like character. I tend to like those kinds of characters, so yeah, he's a character I think would be great to do a video on. Like I've said in the past, I love bounty hunters. If you want a way to my heart, do a bounty hunter game. Like if you want me to go shut up and take my money, do a bounty hunter game. And he is a bounty hunter like character. He's like the man with no name. So yeah, let's talk about him. And to start this off, I would first like to kind of summarize Erron Black in a nutshell. He is a gunslinger, a mercenary type bounty hunter character. He's kind of like a Django Boba Fett type of character. He also kind of reminds me of the Man with No Name, but he mostly reminds me of him and Boba in that when they were introduced, there was just a lot of mystery around them. There was a lot of build up, and you had no idea. You were kind of left wanting to know more about who they were. Well, I was anyway. I was left wondering like who is this person? How did he get to this position? Where did he come from? What's his backstory? That was kind of my reaction to Erron Black. And I like gunslingers. He also reminds me of Silas Greaves. But he's more like a cross between Django and Boba, in my opinion, just in a cowboy suit. And he looks like he belongs straight in a spaghetti western, or he would have, given his background. And yeah, that's the main summary of him. Another thing that I didn't put in the bulletins was he's kind of a loner, or at least that's the image I get of him. He doesn't really strike me as a sociable person. He has relationships with people, but I'll be going over that later. Um, and he just works for whoever pays. Like he's a mercenary at heart, and he's kind of professional in my opinion, which I like. But yeah, that's the main summary of him for me. So for now. Given his status as like the mysterious gunslinger type, not a lot about Erron Black's history is known. It's more like a bunch of references he has in interactions before a fight. It is it is more than likely that he's from Earthrealm originally, or no, he is from Earthrealm. That was confirmed by a guy who was actually able to read him. But he is believed to have most likely been from Earthrealm during the 19th century when gunslingers would have been abundant. Then or he's just a cowboy cosplayer who doesn't know that people don't talk like that, to quote another YouTuber. But for the sake of headcanon, I'm just going to assume he's from that era. He was born in Wickett, Texas, had an abusive mother who, well, as he put it, he had there was some strong women around him growing up, and they taught him to fight back. To quote an associate of mine, Marcus, equal rights, equal fights. And yeah, he shot his father, as Cetrion pointed out in one interaction, and he showed little remorse over it. His exact words were, "The son of a bitch had it coming." At some point, he made a deal with Shang Tsung, who slowed his aging down in return for killing someone. And from there, he ended up, I think, going to Outer World or Outworld, and he never came back, as far as we know. And for a time, he worked for Black Dragon, and after he worked for them eventually, but it said in MK11 in one interaction with Kano, he said he left because got bored with your brand of thieving. That was more or less how he left it, and I think he actually this is something funny about Erron Black. He actually kills a lot of people off screen. One of them was I think the leader of Black Dragon. I forget his name, but he killed him, and that kind of pissed Kano off in MK10. And eventually he would work for Shao Kahn until the tyrant's death, and then he went to work for Kotal Khan. And when Shao Kahn confronts him about this in one interaction, he basically said, "Our contract died when you did." Which I thought was kind of cool. Like, another thing about Erron Black, he just has really cool interaction lines. It kind of says more about who he is as a person. Like, yeah, I'm a mercenary, and I follow you up to a certain point. After that point, our contract is null and void. And yeah, I just like that about. And there's some other things about his background I didn't put in bulletins. One was in the interactions with what was her name, Scarlet. He hints that he had a relationship with her, and at one point Natara. Well, not hints. He actually kind of brings it up once. And it's kind of hard to say. I kind of get the feeling Scarlet still has the hots for him. I have no idea why. And it seems like he's kind of flirting with her, but that's just it. And make it that way you will. I just found that kind of interesting, and I thought I would bring that up with the history of him. Personality-wise, I actually tried looking this up on the Mortal Kombat Wikipedia for some confirmations, but I couldn't find anything, so I don't think I could. So this is kind of just my observations, and this is what I observe about his personality. He seeks danger and excitement. He's a very chill person. Like, he fights lots of people who are very powerful. He fights Shao Kahn, Kotal Khan, Cassie Cage, Jax, and he does so with, I guess I would say nonchalant. Like, he's very calm and chill about it, which I like. He has zero fucks to give when it depending on not caring who he deals with. It's like at the end of the day, you're just someone else to him. He's kind of professional. This is something I actually like about Erron Black and bounty hunter characters is they tend to be some of them are professionals. And I always like this about him. And yeah, that's about all I can say. He seeks thrills. Like, he comes off as someone who's bored, kind of. He likes dangerous women, ergo Natara and Scarlet. And is a firm believer in equal rights, equal fights, I'm guessing. But, yeah. Weapons. He uses revolvers, lever action rifles, a Tarkatan blade, a favorite of my friend Marcus, dynamite, sand orbs. Actually, for a finishing move in 10, he would actually shoot a hole in you, throw it into that hole, then shoot the sand, and sand would just really come out of your body. Like, it would come out of your mouth and eyes. Like, that sounds like a horrible way to die. He also had Saurian acid, I believe, which was like he would throw it under the ground, shoot out your legs, and then kick you, like force your face into it with his foot. And a nether beast trap, which is kind of like, a bear trap? It's kind of like that. And these are the weapons he would use to great effect in combat, depending on who's playing him. So, yeah, there are a couple things. Like, your mileage will probably vary on this, so you'll probably disagree with me if you're an Erron Black fan, but The things I've always liked about this character for the past couple of years since I got into him was I like the mystery aspect. Like he's like the Boba Fett and the Man with No Name type character. Like he's very mysterious when you're introduced to him. You don't know much about him as of yet, and I highly doubt we ever will. He has a personality that I find very likable. He's laid. I especially like the laid back part of his personality. He's the bounty hunter type and the mercenary type. I tend to like those type of characters who are just like they have no real loyalty. There's just you're paying them to do a job and they do it. It's kind of like Mal Reynolds says, "I do the job, then I get paid. Go back to run your little world." That's more or less how I look at them. I also like how he's like again a Fett like character, so he's kind of like Django and Boba. He's very mysterious, and he kind of shows that there's more to the world, and you kind of get hints that a lot of stuff has happened to him, and that there's a bigger world outside of the story that he's shown in. Unfortunately, we never get expansions on him, unlike with the Fetts. And my last but favorite part of Erron Black, he is the least sanctimonious prick in the game. Like Jax, Sonya Blade, Cassie Cage, Johnny Cage, like all these pricks are sanctimonious cunts as far as I'm concerned. They are pricks. Like they are self-righteous, sanctimonious. Like this is what I hate about heroes in games now is they become sanctimonious pricks. Erron Black is kind of refreshing because he is an antagonist and or an anti-hero as far as I'm concerned, or he has the capacity to be an anti-hero and would make a great one at that. You just have to give him motivation to do the right thing. And yeah, that's the main appeal for me with him. Again, your mileage will probably vary on why you like him, but these are the reasons I like Erron Black, and it's why I hope we can come back to him more in the future. And the takeaway with this one is, well, like with Boba, it's possible to incorporate the cowboy bounty hunter archetype into a science fiction setting. Like, I don't see this a lot in science fiction. Like, the last time I saw a bounty hunter in a science fiction setting was, I think, Killjoys. Like, I don't watch TV that much anymore, so they might have done this more since then. But, yeah, they don't do that as much. But yeah, you could make a cowboy type, like someone who's reminiscent of the cowboy, like Boba Fett. He was very much reminiscent of the Man with No Name. That was actually the idea for him. And Erron Black definitely comes off as a Man with No Name type of character. Another takeaway is it helps to have a little mystery to your character as well as to leave room for expansion. And by this I mean this was something also I found with Trish from Devil May Cry is there's room to expand with her character, like to explain, like to have her evolve as a character and develop. Like I think you should do this with a lot of characters, not just protagonists and anti-heroes, but like every character you should leave a little mystery or room for development later on. Like if you want to make a sequel or an expansion on that story you've made, have a character who is like mysterious, but leave some of their past ambiguous or their fate ambiguous, so you can bring them back and reuse them and explore their history a little, like small pieces of their history a little bit. And lastly, the bounty hunters are criminally underused, but that's just me. So hey, and those are the main takeaways I have with Erron Black. Actually, I have one last one that I forgot to put in the bulletins, which was don't be a sanctimonious prick with your characters. That's all, and that's all. Now, also, it's possible to have a character who can be invested in something without them being emotional about it. Like Erron Black is invested in the situation because of monetary gain, and he's not just like a tough guy with a heart of gold. He's a mercenary. It's possible to still have those types of like I don't see those as much anymore, and I have no idea if they still do those types of characters. They probably do, and I just don't know. But yeah, anyway, those are the takeaways. And that's the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're a fan of Erron Black, why do you like him? If not, why do you not like him? I'm genuinely interested in knowing why. Some people might not like him, and why other people do like him. Like, I know why I like him. He's mysterious, he has a laid back personality, and he's a bounty hunter or a mercenary, and I like those. So for me, that's a no-brainer. But yeah, other than that, just let me know in the comments your thoughts. If you liked the video, fine. If you didn't like it, or well, say if you didn't like it, I can Although if you didn't like it, tell me why, so I can improve on my videos later down the line. And yeah, that's it. Have a nice day, and remember the game was rigged from the start.